Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on in to the Blue Collar Psychiatrist. Today's topic is your value in the open market. There is a humorous aspect to this story that happened to me when I was in medical school. I was in my third year of medical school training and very uptight about some of the courses that I was taking in terms of treating patients. And I went with some friends, some other medical students, to this hospital right near the university, right near the medical school, to eat lunch. And I went there several days. They had a better lunch, better food than where I normally would eat. And I noticed there would always be one man who appeared to be a doctor wearing scrubs, surrounded by 5 or 6 medical students who could easily be identified by wearing short white laboratory coats. And none of them were speaking. They were all fascinated by the doctor who was wearing the scrubs. And once I got into that crowd, I could see why. The guy weaved so many stories that it was impossible. He could have easily been an improv expert, a comedian. He just had this ability to pull in people to him because you just instantaneously liked him. And something about him just attracted you to him. You wanted to be sitting at that table. Well, one day, everybody had left, and I still had a few more minutes to spend with him. And I was glad I did because I wanted to ask him a question. I said, Don, that was his name, you see that young lady over there with the brunette? He says, oh yeah, I've seen her around. I said, you know what? She's very attractive. And he came back with, do you want to meet her? And I said, yes, I would like to meet her. He says, you're going to meet her, and I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. He told me that he was going to set up, he was an anesthesiologist, by the way. He told me that he was going to set up a electrocardiogram for me pre-op, as if it was a pre-op. Of course, I was not going to be operated on. But he knew that she was the woman who put the electrocardiogram leads on, and that would be the person I would be dealing with. And I would meet her, that's for sure. So on the appointed day, I came, went downstairs, and she told me to lie on the gurney. She had absolutely no expression on her face, zero. And as I remembered, I'd seen her in the hallways in the hospital, and she would pass by, never even gave me a look, obviously had no interest in me whatsoever. She was very attractive. I would rate her like an 8/10 in terms of attractability. And I didn't expect a lot, to be honest with you, based on the history I had with her, which was zero, but only the body language that she showed me, which was one of complete disinterest. And she started doing the electrocardiogram. And I started laughing, and she had this face that never changed, just this anger, as if I don't want to be with this person. You see, here's where the issue comes in. She had a higher value in the psychosexual part of life than I did. She would have been considered more eligible to date, to go out with, to be sensual with, than I would have been considered to have those qualities. It's just that we were at a different level. And I had mentioned this in another video. We are not the same. She was up there on that totem pole, very high up, very attractive. And I was an average looking guy, but there was nothing there. Sure, if she would have come on to me, I would have said, let's go out on a date, but she never did that. She was dead serious. She gave me absolutely no warmth whatsoever, zero. So after it was over, I talked to the doctor and he says, well, I'm not surprised. That's how she is. He used a word which I won't use here, but we call them ice queens. They're frozen. They just have a coldness about them, especially when they don't like you. Now, if they like you, I imagine that warms up pretty quickly, but it didn't happen with me. I bring this up to you, this humorous story, as I look back on it. I bring this up to you because the truth of the matter is that we all have this worth. We are judged by how we present to the world. And there are many factors that go into that, which I'm not going to go into at this point. But I know where I stand, and she knew where she stands, where she stood, and she knew that there was not a match. And I knew it wasn't a match, but I figured, what do I have to lose? So I had absolutely no chance with this woman. Probably wouldn't have gotten along with her anyway. But nevertheless, you have to understand where you stand on this totem pole of desirability. And if you don't, you're going to make stupid mistakes. Now, I did it because the doctor had set this up for me. But if I would have tried to talk to her at any other time, I'm sure she would basically have ignored me or given me a 1 or 2 word answer, and that would have been the end of it. So you have to know where you stand on that totem pole, because otherwise it's going to be a waste of time, a waste of energy, and you're going to feel perhaps even down about yourself because you would feel rejected. When the bottom line is that you were a mismatch with this person from the beginning and had absolutely no chance. And you know what? There's nothing you can do about it. It's just the way it is. Our desirability is viewed in certain ways by certain people. And if it's not equal on both sides, it's not going to work. So, ladies and gentlemen, I bring this to you both as a humorous story because of how the doctor set me up with her on false premises, I might admit, and her behavior, which did not really surprise me. So, ladies and gentlemen, I remind you to drink and drink abundantly from the fountain of life. See you next time.